Hi everyone, it's Queen Irene and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, a warm welcome to you, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'd like to make my contribution to the housing discussion in Jamaica, especially as it relates to young people and their concerns that they may not be able to afford a house in Jamaica anytime soon. I'm sharing my experience as a small business owner in the construction industry for over 30 years, and as a practitioner in the built environment as a construction engineer. I'll be providing my own experience, insights, and my opinion. Stick around for the details on the other side. It is no secret that there is a housing shortage in Jamaica, especially in the lower to lower middle income categories. There is not enough housing solutions being built to satisfy this category. This is now impacting the prices of the existing housing stocks. Houses that were built many years ago obviously would have appreciated in value, but because of this gap in demand and supply, it is driving up the prices of those houses, and they are being sold for extraordinary prices because people are competing and bidding for them. This is suggesting to me, as an ordinary Jamaican, that there has to be a rethink of the housing policy, and also that the housing stock for this category of income earners need to be reimagined. The houses cannot be built the way they were being built traditionally, everything being concrete. As someone who has done a lot of work in interior construction for over 30 years, I don't see the reason why all these internal walls have to be concrete walls. We need to use the products that are available to us and the technology to reduce the cost of housing. Also, the starter units, I am not a proponent of that concept. What the starter unit does is that it contributes to chaos in a community. Everybody is building and doing their own thing. I believe that a complete unit needs to be built, and the covenant restrict any further building. A complete unit that can house a family. If we want the country to develop and have families, we need to build houses that families can live in. So nothing less than a 2-bedroom I would propose, but something more reasonable that everybody can afford. And there is restriction. No sand and gravel and big truck coming in after the complete community has been developed. It only results in breakdown of the roadways and other things. I've seen it, and it just contributes to the decay of the community over years. Everybody is doing their own thing, building sideways, up and above. So I don't believe in the starter units. And if you do starter units, then the starter units will remain starter unit. When you have outgrown the starter unit, you sell it and move on. So these are my concepts of how the housing solutions can be improved in Jamaica. And there is much more that I could share. I'll curtail my ideas for the moment. Let's move on to what my approach would have been like if I were to advise my younger self about first-time home ownership journey. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a construction engineer. I'm only providing my own experience, how I would approach first-time home ownership if I were to do it again. You may be able to take away nuggets from what I have to share, and you can tweak it to fit your situation. I am suggesting that the best place to start on your first-time home ownership journey is first determine in your mind where the money is going to come from to embark on this project. Even if you already have in your minds what type of home you'd like to purchase, it will all come to naught if you do not have the money to do it. So I think first thing you should do is establish in your minds where the money is going to come from. Whether you're going to save up all that money until you reach the amount that can build your home or buy a home for cash, and that is going to take a very long time, or you are going to borrow the money from lending institutions, or if you have inheritance, which probably can be part of it, can be the land, and then you use your cash, your savings to do the construction, or you're going to just do mortgage. And a good place to start is with the NHT. I'm assuming that most working Jamaicans, whether you're working as an employee or you are self-employed, that you are making your NHT contributions. I'm saying that because for most Jamaicans like me who are coming from very humble beginnings, the NHT would be a very good place to start, because at least they will provide some amount of funding that is at very, 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 very low interest rates. So even though the amount that the NHT may provide may not be enough to cover a property that you desire, it is a good start, and you can get the difference from another institution. The amount of funding that the NHT is offering may be able to provide for a home in certain locations. So it all comes down to people's appetite and where they want to go. Practically, I would suggest that you start where you can afford, and then as time goes by and your circumstances improve, you can sell and move on. But I would not suggest that you sit around and try to wait until you can afford your dream home, because the market is not waiting for you. So I'd suggest that you start somewhere. If you're already contributing, whether as a self-employed person or an employee with an organization, also check to ensure that your contributions are being paid over. And then you get your eligibility letter from the NHT after you have contributed for at least a year and you are currently contributing. So it has to be a twofold situation. At least 1 year of contribution and you are still currently contributing. Then they will calculate what amount of loan that you are qualified for. Engage a real estate company to look for a property for you. That will not be any cost to you as the purchaser. So you don't have to worry about the realtor, because that cost is the vendor's cost, the person who is selling. So don't be afraid to engage a realtor to look about a house for you that fits your budget for the amount of loan that you are qualified for. If you can qualify for a larger amount, you can approach another lending institution, regular banks and building societies. They will take your eligibility letter and they will also incorporate that into their loan calculation and give you the additional amount that you qualify for. Even though the NHT puts out information, in all fairness, I am saying I've heard it on the radio all the time, but I don't know why, but a lot of young people are not aware of what happens in the whole housing market. So they are not aware of their benefits. It can become a daunting experience, because when you see the nice houses being constructed and young people desire, young and old desire to purchase one of them, and it can become so stressful when you realize that you are way, below what is required for a new construction as those that are going up, especially in Kingston and St. Andrew. Location is key. Location, location, location. It is not easy that a young person is going to come up in their 20s and be able to afford a home in the Golden Triangle. there are certain areas that are called certain things, and it's not going to be easy. Look elsewhere and start out and then try to build on your investment over time. And as you grow in your career and your income increases, you're able to launch out bigger, then you probably will be able to own one of those homes. But I'm encouraging young people, start at the level at which you qualify. So if you qualify from NHT in the open market, try to see if you can find something in that bracket in areas that are in proximity to probably where you live now and work as best as possible. Consider also now that you would need to pay certain costs. You're purchasing land, it's wise to have an attorney that does that kind of work, one that is experienced and recommended to do that kind of work. So you have attorney's fee, sale agreement fee, surveyor's fee. You also need a valuation. The cost for the loan itself if you're getting the extra funding. So it's good to save up and invest your money, not in a regular savings account, but in a one that will grow faster, not too risky, one that is secured, but you can earn extra income on it faster to help to make the deposit and pay those costs. You need to consider somewhere between 10%, 15%. You need to have that amount going into any form of homeownership agreement, because you need all those funding to cover the whole process. I will make another video pertaining to the different options for housing. So stick around and continue to look out for the videos. See you next time.